Hey guys, it's Bats here. Wanted to go ahead and thank you for clicking on the video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That helps the channel grow so we can bring you guys more quality content, and then that's going to get you to the Luxor Sphinx a whole lot faster. How expensive is Vegas actually compared to other destination cities? Hey guys, Ace of Bats here, and today I wanted to go ahead and talk to you guys about whether the middle class is being priced out of Vegas. I've been seeing a lot of videos out here, Vegas is too expensive, and I wanted to see how much is a Vegas vacation really compared to other destination cities. So here's how the experiment worked. We used some really basic resources, used kayak.com and budgetyourtrip.com just as a baseline sort of thing. We didn't want to use any comps, didn't want to use any special programs, anything like that. Just what regular Joe Schmo can do as soon as he jumps on his laptop over here and starts typing away, wants to go ahead and book a little holiday for him and his wife or whatever, you know, him and his husband. I don't really care who you're booking a holiday with. If you're booking a holiday, this is what you get when you're Joe Schmo, okay? That's what happens. And we wanted to go ahead and go straight from Middle America. So where else is more Middle America than the Twin Cities in Minnesota? Well, I guess you could argue that Streetsboro, Ohio, is pretty Middle America too, but that was complicated. I didn't know if you flew out of Akron or if you flew out of Cleveland. I'm not even sure how to pronounce Akron. Akron, I don't know. Somebody fix that for me in the comments. Let me know. So we decided to go ahead and do that. We picked the same dates. We're about 6 weeks out right now. Flying from September 9th all the way through the 13th. Decided to pick a 5-day trip here. I know Vegas, you usually only stay about 2 or 3 days, and anywhere else you're going to be a bit closer to a week, 5 or 6 days. But just to get that happy medium, we decided to go ahead and we're flying in on Sunday, we're leaving Thursday, and that's just going to be that, just for consistency. Alright, so, as of right now, we're ready to go ahead and get the party started. Wendy, you want to go ahead and, you want to cue the music?
No, baby.
Okay, alright, I guess we already did the intro. Let's get rolling. Okay, so we broke this into 3 parts and made 3 assumptions with these parts. So part 1 that we're going to do is we're going to do non-stop flights. We're assuming you want a direct flight to these lovely destinations, and we're just pricing it for 2 people. That's just how it's going to be. We needed a constant for the experiment, so not so many variables. Here's the constant. Here's your baseline. Second is for the hotel rooms. We're assuming that the 2 of you are going to want something that's quality, a high-quality hotel without breaking the bank. So we settled at about 4 stars, and we wanted to get a rating of at least 8 on Kayak. Independent travel websites, whatever. So as long as we got at least an 8 on Kayak, it's fine. And finally, I took the liberty of assuming that you're going to be relatively easy on the transport. We're only going to do public transport. I know some places like Florida, you want to go ahead and make sure you have a car. Seattle, you probably want to have a car. Other places like New York and California, you get by on the public transportation, and you probably do better than you do with a motorcycle, with a car. So that's what we decided to go ahead and do. There's no way for me to really accurately estimate how much you're going back and forth. So we decided to go ahead and just use budgetyourtrip.com. to get a good estimate. We're using that. Now, I bet you're wondering, well, why didn't you just go ahead and price all the trips this way? Number 1, it's not fun. Number 2, it makes a lot of assumptions. Like, it thinks about how much it thinks you're going to eat, how much water it thinks you're going to drink, and then for some reason, how often it thinks you're going to get scammed or robbed. Not kidding about that last part, so this is how we're doing the experiment. Okay, let's get started. Flights. Let's go ahead and start with Las Vegas. So we're flying out of Minneapolis St. Paul Airport over there into McCarran Airport in Vegas. We picked Sunday the 9th to fly in and Thursday the 13th to fly home. We'll be quite inebriated at that point, so we just wanted to go straight there and straight back. And it looks like we're looking about a 3-hour flight, 3 and some change either direction, with Sunny Country. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with them, they're a pretty low-cost airline. They're comparable to something like, let's say, Frontier or Spirit. It's not quite a Southwest caliber, but that kind of local airline, Allegiant, that sort of thing. So that's about what we're looking at there. We are looking at, looks like on the cheap side of things, and you're going to Vegas, you're probably going to go cheap. about 143. So we're gonna go ahead and call it 143 right there on that non-stop flight, which I think is not a bad deal, honestly. That's a little more than I pay coming out here from Denver, but that's just how it is. So 143, pretty reasonable. We're assuming you're packing light. I don't know how you pack. I'm not sure if you're gonna have 20 bags or if you're just gonna have -1, or if you're just gonna have your laptop bag with you. We're not talking about bags right now. We're not talking about variables, just the bare necessities. So we're gonna go ahead and go with 143 for Vegas. Now moving on, if we want to go to New York, we're gonna fly into JFK. I know we're supposed. I fly into Newark personally. I like to fly into Newark and LaGuardia personally when I go visit family. But JFK, that's the memorable one. That's the big airport, quote unquote. So we're gonna go ahead and see how we do here. Sun Country again is the winner. We're gonna be flying in late, and we're looking about 300 bucks. If we don't want to add the extra day, we can go in with Delta and Sun Country, a combo for 311. Let's just go ahead and call it 300 bucks because I'm guessing, you know, New York, you just want to go ahead and get there. Let's make it happen. San Diego. So San Diego is only a measly 300 miles away from Vegas, but they still want $329 to get there. Let me refresh this to make sure I didn't miss anything. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything at all. Let's see. Yeah, it's like $200 more almost to get there. Non-stop, if we're talking non-stop, one stop, it'll be a little bit cheaper, but non-stop, $329 again from Sun Country. I guess you can't leave the Twin Cities without going to Sun Country, apparently. See, there you go, it updated again. Or Alaskan Airlines, that's insane, so there's that. Moving on, we're back in Sun Country for Seattle, Washington, which is surprisingly a bit more affordable than I thought it would be. We're sitting at about $200 for an afternoon flight there and an evening flight back, which I think is pretty reasonable if we're going non-stop. I think I can work with that. It's about the same distance. It's a lot less than San Diego, so that's pretty cool. Moving on to the last one, Orlando. Was that right? Refresh, please. Yes. $115. Spirit Airlines. Downside to that is you have to deal with dinky little Spirit Airlines and their tiny little trays. You saw me on my flight to Vegas with Frontier. The tray was about the size of my hand, really. So there's, I mean, aside from, I could have just held my beer and done the same. But yeah, $103 nonstop. I was wrong. $103. It updated again. So yeah, just $100 and a little bit of change to get you there. So if it's you and your spouse, you're looking about $206 to get there together. That's pretty good. Okay, so we're back in Orlando right now to go ahead and look over things, and it looks like the closest thing we have to a real resort, it looks like it's the Mystic Dunes Resort and Golf Club by Diamond Resorts. I'm not quite sure where in Orlando that is, but resort area, I'm assuming it's pretty close to the downtown districts and all that. I'd have to research that. Not what we do in these videos. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so we're going by the resorts over here. It looks like it's the top value. It was recommended. It looks like it is a Disney downtown Lake Buena Vista area in Orlando. I think that's a good spot for it to be. That's about what we're looking for. And we are gonna price this bad boy out. We'll book it now. We're even gonna book it now, just to see how much it's gonna run us. So looking at the cheapest room, 4 nights, so on and so forth. After taxes, it looks like we're looking at $268.52, but we're also getting a resort fee. So you guys thought the resort fees were exclusive to Las Vegas. They are not. They are not exclusive to Vegas. So we're looking at that $268.52. Let's even just call it $268. Adding on the $60 right there, $328. $328. Accommodations are going to run us about $328 in Orlando. So now let's talk Vegas. 4-star, that's a good time. We have either, well, we have a couple choices. There's the Hard Rock, there's the Link. Going into the Link here, we're looking at, let's go ahead and check out the Link Hotel and Casino. I like the Link. It's got this cool little Ferris wheel thing. When I say cool little, I mean it's huge. A little pricey, but it's huge. We're going to go ahead and jump into the Link over here. So we're staying on Strip just for the lols. Assuming I'd have a question for him today. Let's go ahead and book now. Pretty cheap right now, all things considered. Okay, so when we're factoring in the $220 for the Link, and then we're factoring in the $140 resort fee, and then just the local taxes, we're looking at $408 for the Link. Let's go to the Tillery. It's actually not too far away from where I used to live in New York. Alright, that's pretty dope. Let's go ahead and check out the deal here. Now that we're in the NYC, going to downtown Brooklyn, now it's all gentrified. Thank you, Jay-Z. Let's get up in there. Alright, $183 a night for a classic 250 square foot bed. Alright. A bedroom, but you know what I mean. So if we're factoring in taxes, fees, all that jazz, $868.47. Alright, moving on to San Diego. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? I don't know, but we're gonna stay at Paradise Point Resort and Spa. This is probably pretty close to a Vegas resort, I'm sure. Don't know where Paradise Point is. I don't think it's close to downtown San Diego. Yeah, it looks like it's off the beach somewhere. Surprise, surprise, whatever. We are picking the, we're just gonna pick one of these things. 400, okay, that's not bad. 486.53. Let's make sure that's the whole thing. Oh, there are them taxes and fees. These are the taxes and fees due today, not included in the rate. Another 36.13 a night. So let's say this again. 36 times. We're gonna be there 4 nights. That's cool. Plus the 573, $717. Yeah, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? She's got your wallet, fam. Look behind you. Okay. Moving on to our last city on the list. We have Seattle. So I'm trying to figure out. I've never actually been to Seattle, unfortunately. So I don't really have a good frame of reference for where we should be. The English Tutor looks a little weird. That one looks like it's really good, but then so does South Lake Union. Chroma Condos by Domicile. I don't know. That one looks legit too. I don't know. Let's just go ahead and do this one. This looks like an actual hotel. It's within a mile of the Space Needle. Okay, that's a touristy spot. That's where we want to be. We're tourists. We're going there. Expedia.com it up. We are taking the sale. Yeah, buddy. Expedia verified. We'll do this later. I don't care. All these pop-ups, man. Hate these websites. So 1 unit, 2 adults. We're going these days. Let's reserve the hell out of this. Pay online now. We're trying to save the money. Alright. So we're talking about $189 a night plus taxes and fees of $20 actually. That's pretty reasonable. Grand total of $834. Wow. Okay. And for the rest of the action, we're actually just gonna have a pretty easy time. I just picked what's the website called again? Budgetyourtravel.com, or it was your vacation budget, some budget. Anyway, so got that broken down. It worked out that you're gonna end up having to budget about $190 for travel in Vegas. I think it was something like $38 a day they figured you'd be spending, which I'm like, alright, that's cool. $250 for Orlando, just getting around. I assume that's because there are more highways to the places you're going. Things aren't quite as close together. New York, you can get away with about $200. Public transit's pretty good over there. Subway will take you pretty much anywhere in the city. No big deal. You get your Metro card, you swipe it, forget about it. Okay, San Diego, you're actually probably only looking about $100. You can get around there fairly easily, from what I understand, with the public transit. So that's not too bad. And same deal with Seattle. Seattle's actually pretty decent with the public transportation. Now, so looking at the victories, we actually in first place for a paltry sum of $784. Orlando, Florida is actually our winner for not pricing out the middle class. In a close second place, we are looking at the city of Neon, Las Vegas, Nevada. That ended up at about $884. It's a little bit cheaper to get to Orlando, and it's a little bit cheaper to stay in Orlando. I think that was the trick. So it won two out of three categories, which is good. Seattle squeaks into third, $1,330 there. That means you're about $200 a piece to get into the city, $834 to stay there, and $100 to get around. So I mean, as we proceeded down the list, it actually got cheaper and cheaper to get ahead and get around places. It's just harder to get there and stay there. San Diego was fourth. Came in at just under $1,500, $1,475. About $330 to fly in, $715, $717 to stay there, and about $100 to get around. We'll call it more or less. And of course, the city that never sleeps, the Big Apple, New York City, and its 5 boroughs. That is going to run you about $1,668 to hang out there for a week. $300 to go ahead and fly into JFK, $868 to hang around in the city, and about $200 to get around it. Just to hang out in Brooklyn, $868. Thank you, Jay-Z. But aside from that, still a pretty good time. So take all the estimates with a grain of salt here. We didn't talk about eating, we didn't talk about souvenirs or show tickets or nightlife, tourist traps, or anything of the like. Obviously, Orlando's price tag goes up once it hit Disney, and it's no secret that, Vegas slot machines, they take no prisoners. But pound for pound, it's clear that Orlando, and then I guess by extension Vegas, are much more economical travel destinations. The other two, the other 3 cities, you're gonna get to Orlando and Vegas for about 2/3 to half the price, honestly. But if you're still feeling priced out, time to hit the slots. I'm talking my Vegas slots. I got a link to my guides in the description box below, and I'll put one at the end of the video over here. But you factor in a couple of monorails, you want to go ahead and get a couple of tickets, buffet passes, maybe a couple of free rooms. That cuts down the cost quite a bit there, right? So that $884 turns more into about $500 either direction. Not such a bad deal. And then the vacation within of itself gets bigger. So take advantage of this good stuff, and happy spinning, guys.